So throughout every rank, it seems like hero win rates fluctuate up and down, left and right, better and worse heroes every single meta. But one hero that has been very good for a long amount of time is D.Va. And honestly, she's been one of the most played heroes and one of the highest win rate heroes all the way from Bronze to Grandmaster. And today I want to talk about why she's so good, and I guess why she might be a good pick to learn to either main, or I guess to just have as a good alternate pick, because she can be a really good character to fill as. With all that said though guys, let's get started. Now I guess one thing I should mention about this character is that D.Va is just so comprehensive of a character, and by that I mean she does just about everything in the game except for heal. She does a huge amount of damage, can get picks by herself, can block a lot of damage from the enemy, has a lot of mobility, and has the possibility to even get a team wiping ult by herself. D.Va is a character that just kind of encompasses the majority of different good parts of heroes' kits in this game, and does them all to a decent level, and I think in a lot of cases does them better than other heroes, and I think that's why she's just so good right now. D.Va really does it all, and while that might in the future warrant for maybe a nerf because, you know, she is so good at everything, I think it's also the reason why she's so played. As a D.Va player, you don't really need to focus on your team as much. As a D.Va player, you can play with your team, you can protect them, or you can go for kills, you can go for elims, you can go for damage, you can go for nice ultimates. D.Va really has it all, and as a character that's a tank, that's kind of more than what you'd usually expect. And I guess one really important part about her that's so important to her having such a high win rate and a pick rate is that there really is no real punishment for locking in D.Va every single game. If you lock in, let's say, Tracer every single game, or Genji every single game, or even Mercy every single game, I think there's going to be a decent amount of probability that either your teammates don't really need that character, or that your team comp doesn't really fit it, or that mainly you already have 2 or 3 of the DPS mains, so you know, you should probably be switching. But with D.Va, in I think 90% of my games or more, you can just lock her in and play her. And of course, if she does get locked in, you can play a different tank, a main tank, not putting way too much effort that way. But really, you always need more tanks, and she always works with just about every team comp, and I think that's another reason why she's just such a strong pick. As D.Va, you don't need to play dive comp every single game like you might need to with Winston. And as D.Va, you don't really need to play a brawler comp like you might need to with somebody like Reinhardt. As D.Va, you don't really need to play a bunker comp like you might have to go for if you're playing someone like Orisa. You can kind of fit the comp in any way that it needs. And even if you're playing with triple DPS, solo tank D.Va, it's still a possible way to win. And that's quite amazing. And I think that's another reason why she's just so OP in a sense, because she can work by herself with other characters, no matter what you really need. I think personally in the majority of situations, of course, you do want to play with another tank. You do synergize quite well with them. And you do want to play, not really in the direct front line because you don't have a way to mitigate damage too much other than for 2 seconds. But it still is a possibility with her. And I think that's why she's so good at every rank, because really there is the opportunity to do well at just about every single second. And in just about every single team comp, which is important as team comps do change a lot from rank to rank. But I think another thing that might be even more important than just her versatility is the fact that D.Va is a pretty easy character to play. I mean, you don't have to put in too much time to do half okay as her, but I think she's as well a hard character to master, and I think that she has a good skill curve compared to a lot of other characters. If you're playing D.Va at Bronze, you might not get that many elims, but you can still do a decent amount of damage. You can still use your mobility to block a decent amount. You can still block game-winning ultimates, and you can still generally just play in the front line, be pretty not proactive, but still be there and still do stuff for your team and still be an important part of your team. But as you rank up and get better and better and better, D.Va applies, or I guess supplies, a lot of just opportunity in her kit. She can get elims if you're really good at her, and if you know how to time her, and if you know where to be and when to be there. She can protect your backline. She can get game-winning ultimates. She can block game-winning ultimates. She can do a lot if you put in a lot of time with her and if you learn her a lot. And I think that's what's so great about her and why she stays so highly played in every rank. Because, again, she's easy to play, but hard to master. And I think that's as well why so many people kind of get addicted to playing her, because you start playing her and you can see slow but sure improvement in your gameplay. And I think it is a pretty straight just straight up curve. And I think that's really a great part about her. You can learn aiming if you want to do that. You can learn timing if you want to do that. You can learn positioning to carry if you want to do that as well, or positioning to play defensively if you want to do that. I think the fact that she has so many different alleyways to play the character and so many different things to work on, it makes a lot of people want to play her. And as well, she is just a super strong character, adding to that. And I think in general, just having both those going with her makes her feel quite overpowered and quite oppressive, because just about everybody can play her, and just about everybody can get some improvement out of her. And I guess that's maybe a good thing for the game, but that's a really good thing for D.Va, because it makes her just that much stronger. And as far as being strong, a thing that she has that not a lot of the other tank characters have is a lot of carry potential. Some tanks do have this. I think that probably Roadhog is one of the highest tanks, and maybe sometimes Zarya when she's in the meta. They can get some picks, deal some damage, and, force fights and get gold ultimates. But I think D.Va has some of the highest in the game. Maybe a little bit less than Roadhog, but D.Va really can force a fight. D.Va can go in and burst down a 200 HP hero by herself and get objectives in that way. And I think that the thing that makes D.Va a little bit better than Roadhog in some of these cases is that Roadhog kind of needs his team to push up with him to get those kills and to finish off opponents. But D.Va doesn't really need her team as much. Sure, she does benefit from having them supporting behind her and, pushing up with her. But let's say that you really need to get a kill on the enemy Widowmaker, or you need to shut down the enemy Zenyatta. D.Va could go for that and carry in that way. Not a lot of the other tanks can do that. A lot of the other tanks can open up ways for your teammates to get in there and open up ways for your teammates to finish off kills. But D.Va can do that by herself. She can make space and use the space all in one character. That's not something a lot of other characters can do. Now, another thing a lot of other characters can't do is play on just about every single map. I think a lot of characters, especially, let's say, Reinhardt, are good on some maps, but not that great on other maps. And I think that's why a lot of characters kind of don't seem to be nearly as strong as maybe they could be. Let's say on King's Row, for example, the classic Reinhardt map. He's very good right there. He can get great ultimates. Everyone's stuck to a good, small area. His shield is a lot more effective than a lot of the other maps, and that makes him strong on that map. But D.Va, while she is better, I think, on 2CP and sometimes on King of the Hill, you can play her on every map and do fine. There is no map that she immediately becomes completely useless, like what might happen to somebody like, Doomfist. And just being so consistent in that way, as well as her kit being so consistent, that makes her just better. And I think the final thing I want to say, which makes D.Va feel so OP right now and so oppressive, is that she is a hard character to play versus. And I think a lot of people don't really think about this because, they see the character, they think, hey, I can just play Zarya, I can play Mei, I can play some of her counters, stop her, make so that she doesn't do way too much. And, in the first place, it doesn't seem like D.Va's doing way too much all the time, so maybe I don't even have to stop her. But when you actually look at D.Va's kit and try to figure out how to beat this out, most of the characters in Overwatch don't have a super good way to beat her as it is right now. D.Va can out-damage a lot of the DPS, as far as, in a close range 1 versus 1. And it's hard for them to even get through her armor, which makes it harder, and she can block all of their damage with her defense matrix and cycle through that. Yeah, it's kind of hard through there. With a lot of the tanks, sure, Roadhog can, kind of mess her up if the situation's going pretty bad. But in a lot of cases, D.Va can just stop his damage straight out, can force him back, and can get him in a bad position. And in a lot of cases, it's just easier for her to do that than him. And with many of the other tanks as well, there's not much they can do against her. And I think that's what makes her so great. And finally, supports. I mean, Zen can shoot him, do some damage there. Moira can kind of suck him off a little bit. That might help, whatever. But in a lot of cases, yeah, it's hard to deal with her. And I think that's kind of what makes her feel really the most OP, is that she's good at everything, and she's hard to beat, and there's no super big counter to her right now. And personally, myself as a D.Va player, I guess that is a good thing. I like playing the character, and I think she's really fun and good, but maybe they might need to add something that can make her a little bit more counterable, add a different part to her that might not be as good or nerf her some way or another. But I think, finally, with the addition of Brigitte, that might be just what has to put her down a little bit, and what might make her a little bit worse, because D.Va can't do much against that character. D.Va actually has a little bit of trouble versus that character. And I guess there's one character that might make her a little bit less oppressive. I guess we're kind of going to just have to see with that, though. And as it is right now, D.Va really is a great pick, and honestly, I'd recommend to just about everybody if you want to learn a tank, or just an off tank, or just somebody that can carry your games, or at least somebody that can just deal some damage when you're not getting any of it. D.Va is a really good choice for you. With all that said though, guys, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like, press the subscribe button to see more videos like this in the future. Enjoy the 10-minute long dream because YouTube literally forces me to do these. Otherwise, I get screwed by the system. So sorry about that. Anyways, thank you guys for your support. Hope you enjoyed. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day.